Hey, we're back talking to Arthur. I forget which part this is in the series because the interview with Arthur is turning out to be so long, but it's good stuff, isn't it? After spending 10 years and spending over $10,000 on letter writing alone, looking for his soulmate, his beautiful wife here in the Ukraine, and being unsuccessful, remaining 10 years later, lonely and single. Arthur, by sharing his painful, costly mistakes, he wants to help you pave the path for your success. So you can come to the Ukraine and meet the most incredible, beautiful, smart, talented, sexy, loving woman, wife that will treat you like a king, as they say. So we want to give you hope that, yes, it is possible. Yes, there are a ton of these incredible, amazing, and gorgeous women here waiting for you. The problem is this industry, the marriage agency or the mail order bride industry, is fraught. Fraught with cons and scams in these agencies. Like I've been told many times, 90+%, 99%, depending on who you talk to, for insiders in the industry. So how do you ever meet one of these amazing women? It's like finding a diamond in a haystack kind of thing. So without some kind of comprehensive roadmap, which we're endeavoring to provide you here now with this interview with Arthur, it's almost an impossible task. There's very low success rates of marriages resulting in this industry, which is a dirty, ugly secret that the industry does not want you to know, but you can take it from me, this is the truth. But please don't be discouraged. The most amazing woman waits for you. It's only a matter of how to find her and how to win her heart. So that said, let's continue talking to Arthur. Art, why don't we talk about red flags?
That's good.
Okay, I think every Western man absolutely needs to know when he comes over here and he's going and he meets his girl face to face, how does he know she's really into him? Versus red flags that she's not into him or she has a hidden agenda, wrong motives, bad motives.
Boy.
What would you say? What's the biggest red flag for you that you've encountered over 10 years?
I tell you, my experience has been one of the very first red flags that I watch for is their attitude and body language towards me.
On the first meeting?
First meeting. Do they act like they're really interested? Do they act bored? Do they enter into the conversation?
Do they ask you questions?
Do they ask questions?
About you?
Yes.
Want to know about you?
If all they're doing is answering your questions, if they're looking distracted, not showing that they're a real genuine interest by asking questions, you know that they're not into you.
Yeah, exactly.
Either they're not into you or they're not there of their own free will.
Volition.
They're being paid to be there.
Because as we uncovered this letter writing scam, if you're in your situation, well, you're writing to this picture, and then it turns out that it's Igor or whatever. When you finally say, "Oh, I'm coming to the Ukraine to meet this picture," they say, "Oh." So they call the picture, the girl in the picture, and say, "Hey, Art's coming to meet you," and she goes, "Well, I don't know this man. Send me a photo." And they said, "Oh, I don't like him. I don't want to meet with him." Then they say, "Okay, we'll pay you $25, $50, $100. So she could be there because she's being paid.
Absolutely. I believe that with all my heart.
So I'll piggyback on your tip by saying, guys, don't think so much with your head. Really tap into your heart. Feel what you feel. Do you feel if she's into you? Right? That's the first tip, I think. And red flag. Okay, I'll throw one in. Red flag for me was if they're picking the most expensive restaurant in town.
Yeah. Oh, God. That's common.
Yeah. Because in my experience, the good girls, the ones that are serious, they're actually quite conservative and respectful about money. And they know money's tight and it is for them, and they don't assume you're rich. And so they'll suggest a modest restaurant.
I agree. I have a story about that one that just illustrates it nicely.
Sure.
I met this not too long ago, I met a nice young lady, hired an interpreter to come with us. We spent an hour just getting acquainted, and then she had to leave, I had to leave. So she was heading home, And actually, we just went to a coffee shop and had tea. And I asked, do you want to eat anything? No, just tea. And so we had tea. On the way home, I said, okay, I'd like to pay a taxi for you to go take you home. And she said, oh no, I'll take the bus. I'm not going to take any money from you. I don't mind telling you that was a real refreshing.
That's a good sign.
It's a good sign.
That's she's got good intentions, honorable intentions. Another one for me is if on the first date or even the second date, she wants to go shopping. I asked her, what do you want to do tonight? She said, oh, karaoke, I love to sing. Oh, I don't have good shoes for karaoke. And then we go shopping, I buy her shoes. And then she says, I'm in pants, I really should have a skirt. And at that point I said, no.
It's going the wrong way.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, and I've asked a lot of ladies, a good lady doesn't ask for gifts, go shopping right away. So that's definitely a red flag.
Right. I was just trying to think of some other real clear red flags. One that I've had experience with was a red flag that the actual lady that I was conversing with showed up. And she absolutely had no dialogue with me. For 3 hours, I talked to the interpreter. And she never said a word the whole time. It was just like she was mute. Probably. At the end of the 3 hours, I was paying the interpreter, and I told her, what's going on here? This woman never probably said 100 words in 3 hours. Well, she's just shy. After all this time of us getting acquainted, and I come all the way here to meet her, and you're telling me she's shy? I said, I don't think she's the one been writing letters to me. Oh no, she's just shy. Okay.
That's a double red flag.
Well, that was it.
Shy and a red flag that it's not the girl that you've been corresponding to.
I guarantee you. Yeah. And then on the heels of that, the next day, this particular agency, of course, called me and said, well, she was just really shy, but we have other girls that we can introduce you to that.
Ka-ching, ka-ching.
Yeah, so
get some more money
I just told them, I think not, thank you very much.
And I'll chime into that and say it's an area of scams where the interpreter, and this is a red flag, when the interpreter, like you say, is talking with the lady a lot and more than you, and if you read the body language, I've been told by interpreters that sometimes they're in cahoots. So they want to keep the meter running, and because it's $20 an hour, which is big money in the Ukraine, that you're paying for the interpreter, and the lady, the girl, gets a cut of that.
She gets a commission.
She can be saying things about you behind your back kind of thing. Like, I don't like this guy. For example, I've been told by interpreters, a common one is, this man is old and what is he thinking that he wants to be with me?
Right.
He's a dirty old man kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've had interpreters tell me that. So they can be talking about you behind your back in cahoots.
In Russian, and you'd have no idea what's going on.
But 70% of communication is body language. So if you watch the body language, you can look for a red flag.
Very easily. In a meeting, that's the first thing I look for, first things I look for. Because if they're really, truly interested in you, like anywhere else, they're going to be looking at you. They're going to be listening to you. They're going to be asking questions.
Inquisitive.
They're going to be inquisitive about you. And maybe you said, well, tell me more about your work. Or tell me about your children. Or they're going to have basic questions. They're going to, like you would with anyone. Exactly. And if they don't do that, you've struck out.
Do you think it's okay to be direct with them in the meetings? Are the Ukrainian ladies open to being direct and openly asking direct questions in the meeting? What do you think?
Now we're now talking about serious women. We're not talking about the rest of them. We're talking about women
the serious basket that's 10%, not the 90% bad
exactly,
basket.
The 90%
bad basket. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the 10% with good, wholesome intentions, looking for love and marriage.
Absolutely, 100%.
Want to be direct.
Be direct.
They
These
wanna
women are direct.
Cut to the chase.
They will answer you directly.
And they will ask you.
And they will, boy, they will,
Questions.
once it starts, get ready because they'll be hitting you with everything from religion to politics to on and on. Now, there's some things you don't want to, culturally don't want to approach, just like most women. Leave the sex talk out. Don't even go there.
Distasteful. It's private and it's too soon.
It's distasteful to them. They'll immediately peg
rude,
you.
And they don't like rude men.
They don't. Don't immediately start asking what their preferences are and all that stuff because they will immediately peg you as a pervert and that's the end of it.
I can't even believe some Western men do that, but
Amazing.
apparently they do.
I've heard the stories from many people.
Very distasteful. You
So,
don't do that.
but don't be afraid to ask relationship questions.
Yes.
They want to know too. They really do. They want to know, is this man going to be a future potential mate for me or is he just playing around? And I want to, so you get serious with them, ask them hard questions. Ask them how they feel about leaving Ukraine. Ask them, what are they looking for in a man? What's important to you? And let them answer and then they'll ask you a question. And
I think that's a great tip you just gave. Ask about them. Make the conversation about them.
Absolutely. Because she will ask about you too, if she's interested. But
that's a great way to open up the conversation by talking about them.
And I'll tell you how she responds to this has been my experience, what she sees or hears. She doesn't hear the question. She doesn't see what you're really asking. What she sees, you're serious. She hears, he's serious.
In the body language.
Well, the question, he's just asking personal questions, relationship questions. She's thinking, he's serious about me. Because if you just asking her what color of clothes she likes or what kind of flowers she likes or, that kind of stuff, it's like boring.
Yeah.
And she's going to go, oh, I'm not so sure this guy's right. You start asking those other questions.
Why don't we take the conversation away from red flags and
Sure.
talk about what are the do's? What are the kind of things you should do on the date? And maybe don't do. We'll kind of do a mixed bag.
Okay. Well, let me just throw out some of my experiences, things that I think are very appropriate. These women pride themselves on personal appearance.
Boy, do they ever.
Nice dress. They may not be able to afford much, but what they have is generally pretty nice.
They'll have a couple, maybe 2 or 3 outfits that are
very nice.
Beautiful outfits that show all their features. And sometimes they'll save for an outfit and not even buy food, or they'll scrimp and save to buy it.
That may be
important.
6 months worth of saving just to be able to afford a dress that.
It's that important to them.
It's huge.
They really relish their beauty, and they want to show their beauty off to the man.
Yeah, absolutely. So I said,
compliment them on it. Right?
Absolutely compliment. Don't be afraid to give them compliment, but make sure that you're not just flattering for flattery's sake. Be sincere, but you don't got to go way overboard. But just they want to know that you like what you say. Wow, you look absolutely beautiful tonight.
I love your eyes, your hair.
Don't tell them, God, what a great set of tits. I mean, that's
no.
Yeah, you want to go.
Rude. That's
Just you're absolutely gorgeous. You're beautiful, and then let it go. You don't got to be over the board.
Don't embellish it.
No. But the other thing is, my suggestion is that when a man does go to meet a serious woman, that he dresses nicely.
Yes.
Don't show up in old ragged jeans and sneakers and a baseball hat turned sideways like a punk, all that stuff. You show up like a gentleman.
Yeah.
You don't have to wear a tuxedo or a suit, but look nice.
Yeah. A shirt and jeans and nice shoes. They look to shoes too.
Be appropriate. Be appropriate. And they love gifts. They won't necessarily ask for them, but they expect you to show up with something in your hand.
Yeah, even if it's just
buy some roses.
3 roses.
White roses. Don't buy red roses right off the bat. That's too intimate.
That's interesting because I always buy red
roses.
roses.
But if you have a relationship with them, buy red roses.
3 red roses is my buying it.
And that's they will not say a word. They'll be happy as they can be. But appropriate would be white roses.
I think white's friendship, isn't it?
It speaks more of purity. Your intentions are pure. And the red roses are after you have a relationship built, then it's love and,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a little thing. It's nothing. That isn't something I'd worry about.
And
don't-
presents, what about presents?
I
Small,
would-
big,
no,
iPhone? What do you
Not,
think?
no, not for the first date or two. What you want to do is show up with some flowers, maybe a box of chocolate, small box of candies. You know, that's all you want.
I think guys need to know that if you lavish them with the expensive gifts, like an
Yeah.
iPhone, iPad, they actually are insulted with that. They perceive that as you're trying to buy their affection, buy their love, and that's very distasteful.
The good ones will feel very insulted.
And the bad ones will love it.
And they'll grab it and say,
They'll
oh,
grab it and they'll,
let's go shopping.
yeah, and they'll date you more and more, and
So,
you can have a relationship with them if you want.
I strongly recommend that when you do show up, that you just very modest, some little thing in your hand, doesn't have to be much like we talked about. The other thing is, for God's sakes, be a gentleman. If you don't know how to be a gentleman,
Learn.
ask somebody about
does.
it. That's it. Take care of your personal hygiene. Show
Go
up,
to etiquette school.
whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
Don't-
Open the car door. Even pull out their chair for them, sitting down for
Anything.
dinner. Be the gentleman.
Be a gentleman.
In Ukraine, that's very important. Ukrainian men, I'm told, a lot of them are, but there's more gentlemen in Ukraine, I think, than in the Western world.
Well, I just, I can't really be sure of, but I do know that they are impressed. You make a good impression if you're serious. You make a good impression if you act like a gentleman, like you said, open the doors for them, open the doors, let them go through, help them with their seat, take their coat off.
Oh, take their bags.
Take their
If
bags.
you're shopping, carry the shopping bag.
Whatever. Just be a gentleman.
Yes,
And if-
chivalry is alive and
they
well in
love it.
Ukraine. They love it.
Because it shows that you really are serious about them and your intentions are good toward them.
You appreciate them, and you're showing them.
And they know that.
What about on a date, first date, second date? How the dates roll out in terms of physical touching, physical connection, and the Ukrainian woman? What are they like?
And we're dealing with the ones that are real and
Yes.
want relationships.
The 10% good
okay.
ones, not the 90%.
My conviction through many relationships is that they don't want a whole lot of physical touching. They don't want you pawing them and
At the
grabbing
beginning.
them and slapping them on the butt or,
Oh, no.
or anything, tickling them. Don't just keep your hands to yourself.
Exactly.
If you're a I'm a touchy-feely guy.
Me too.
I can't help it. It's almost like I can't stop myself.
And I've got myself into trouble. How about
I
you?
have too.
They don't like
I'm not
that.
going to tell you my stories, but they
don't like
you
that.
just be appropriate. If you're sitting and talking and you're making a point, it's okay to just lightly touch them
Yeah.
on the arm. They'll let you get by with that.
Yeah.
But keep your hands off.
But
them.
holding hands, for example. When does that come? What date? Like, I mean,
That is between you and her. That's some will. I've had many who maybe the first, second date maybe they'll just touch you like this, or or maybe they'll give you a little cheek kiss, when you're departing. But that's about it. And then at some point maybe they'll sit over and they'll put their hand on you like that.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's a different.
yeah. But generalizing, though, do you find that they don't hold hands as quickly as women like to in the West?
I agree to that.
Okay, that's what I'm getting
Yeah,
at.
my
They
experience-
like to slow, so
Yeah.
maybe in that physical department, let them take the lead, the initiation on that. Otherwise, you just don't know, because everybody's different. It's a personal thing. But if you rush it, it doesn't come across well.
Doesn't. Now, they like very much here, the women do, to hold the man's arm like this.
Yes.
They like to put their hand inside of your arm. They don't consider that hand holding.
Right, that's before hand holding. It's less intimate.
It's less intimate and it's more of a symbol of protection, I think.
It is.
And
And if
they-
you're walking up a stairs, if you're going to the opera or something, I would put out my hand and they would.
Yes,
And that's
exactly.
okay.
That's okay.
Not intimate.
Yeah.
It's chivalry
Yes.
category.
And I agree. I agree
All right,
completely.
let's talk about sex.
Okay.
Us guys love to talk about this subject. Let's talk about sex and the Ukrainian woman. Let's first talk about this 10% basket. We're talking about the serious ones,
Real women here.
the real women
serious
that,
women,
that
yeah.
are serious and want to find love, get married, and have a happy family, which is what the Ukrainian culture and the woman want in the Ukraine, right? So that 10% good ones in the marriage agencies. Let's talk about the progression of the physical relationship. in sex.
Okay.
And how does that go? What's your experience?
My experience is these are real genuine women, real genuine desires and feelings. Okay, they want a relationship to mature slowly. They're not ready to immediately jump into bed with you. They're not even, like we talked about, they're not even ready to hold hands with you or have any physical contact for a while. So if this is a real genuine woman with a relationship in her mind, you're not going to probably just have a sexual encounter with her. She's not interested. She can find sexual encounters anywhere she wants.
There's a lot of Ukrainian men
To be happy
that'd
just
be
to
happy to
in and
sleep
out
with
and be
them.
gone. Yeah,
So if they're looking for that.
That's,
In fact,
they don't want that.
I had one lady tell me that sex begins, I didn't know this, but I guess Freud said, sex begins with holding hands.
I'm not quite so
Yeah.
trusting.
Listen, if you want to know the marriage agencies that I've found here in the Ukraine that are truly honest agencies, that care about you, that are not all about the money, that do genuine private personal matchmaking, just shoot me an email, okay, on the screen right here, and I'll be happy to send you an email and let you know which agencies that I've discovered are genuine and true here in the Ukraine. That is 90%, in my opinion, of your success. Looking for the most amazing, beautiful, talented, smart, sexy, amazing wife here in the Ukraine. You can be successful, but to go it alone, you're in shark-infested waters. That's my opinion. Shoot me an email and I'll be happy to share my contacts with you.